The we are alive and ready, and I am definitely alive. So, good evening, everyone. I am Reverend Janet Reynolds, and Blue Feather is my guide. Welcome to Insight with Blue Feather. If I have a special guest tonight, let me tell you that. But let me just tell you a couple things about myself. Yes, I am a counselor or an intuitive counselor, and I do readings, yes, and I give you insight and confirmation, and I am in the now. So I am just very glad to see everybody. If anyone has a question, please call 813-814-1601. And just please know that my website is bluefeather.net. I have a very special guest tonight, so let me please introduce to you. I would like to say one of my very best friends, Kathy Perry. Hey, Kathy, are you here? Are you here?
I'm here. Thank you so much, Janet. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy. I'm happy to see you. And I know that you have an awesome life in your own little way, but I think all of us have an awesome life. Wouldn't you say that?
I agree. I agree.
Yes. So, would you please tell us just a little bit about your background?
Sure. Well, I have a background of about over 30 years in technology. So I am a social media consultant, but I also have a number of years in energy empowerment. So I've been trained on a lot of energy healing techniques. So I'm kind of a unique social media consultant, very yin and yang. And but my background is, very strong in technology and marketing automation, social media.
I think that that is really, really amazing. And I do know you did work on my head, or should we say crania?
Yes.
Yes. And it was good. I remember that because it was really nice and calm and quiet. So,
Yep.
yes, now. I know you do have a book or two out there, but I won't speak about that right now.
Okay.
But if you can tell me a little bit about your own transformation after a personal tragedy, because that seems to be
Yeah.
very important.
Well, and it is something that changed my life. Obviously, I I was involved in I'll say the personal growth movement most of my life and most of my career. But then my husband died unexpectedly. He had a heart attack. And for the year after that, I immersed myself in energy healing to heal my heart, to help me through that difficult time.
Mhm.
And based on what I was learning and all of the energy empowerment tools that I learned how to use, it transformed my life. And then I was able to help people in a new way that I wasn't in the past. So it's been really life transforming for me.
Oh, I'm sure that it has been. I think it's very, very important that we take our energy and balance it out and apply it every day to the best of our ability. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I use these energy, I like to refer to them as my energy toolbox. So I have all these different tools that I can use at any time throughout the day to assist me in making sure that I'm living a more empowered life. I'm not living in victim consciousness. I am totally making sure that I'm living in empowerment and I'm making the choices and I'm not being a victim.
Well, in today's world, with everything that is going on, I feel that it is so important that we stay in a positive mode. Can I say it that way? Or
Yeah.
try to do everything in our power to stay balanced.
Mhm.
And the one thing that I have learned how to do, that I do every day, and that is I balance out my chakras.
Mhm.
I
Well, and I agree that it's important to have I call it a self-care routine. Every morning, I have a specific thing that I do regarding my own self-care, physically, emotionally, mentally. So I combine several different techniques or tools to use,
Mhm.
including, meditation. I have a chi machine I've been using for 20 years and almost every day. I have all these different techniques that I do because I know they're important.
They are. They are. But I also know that you're using a beautiful physical technique. So tell me what that is.
Well, I recently signed up for a women's fitness program,
Mhm.
and it's at a martial arts studio in Tarpon Springs, and I am boxing.
I love it. I
I
love
know it.
So I am going to ask you to let you and I both just take a minute and talk to everyone and let them know what that physical can do, because I power lift and I have boxed. I did not box this year, but I have boxed almost every year for the past 16 years.
Yeah.
So I feel that that is the most fantastic way to release or let go. So now please tell me what you think about it.
Well, I truly love it. I didn't know if I would, because obviously I laughed. I said, "Oh my gosh, this is the first time in my life I've ever owned a pair of boxing gloves."
Yeah.
Um, but it does release a lot of stress. When you're hitting a bag, and actually, when I say boxing, we're hitting a bag. I'm not in a ring boxing other people.
No, but you could just visualize somebody who
You
does
know, the I could, I don't. I like the rhythm of punching the bag. I do it in a rhythm, and that's really great for me.
Mhm.
We really focus also on the core, so we do regular exercises focusing on the core, and they're teaching us self defense techniques
Yeah.
as well, and then we spend half the time on the bags, and it's really I've already been doing it for a month. This is my 5th week, and I go 3 times a week. And we took our measurements on Monday after a month of doing it 3 times a week. And I definitely, lost a couple inches on my biceps. I had some extra flab there that's gone.
Yeah. It,
And so I've lost several inches on different parts of my body. I'm not going to share where everything.
no, that's okay. That's just fine. But that's important and that's good.
Yeah.
It's releasing of anxiety. It's releasing of depression.
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful. And with myself as a power lifter, my favorite, I do squat, which I don't like. I do bench, which I love my
Love
bench.
bench.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
I do the I bring up the weight. I my God, I forgot what that is. Deadlift. The deadlift. But my
Okay.
favorite one is the bench, because
Yeah.
it takes everything in me to just
To do that.
bring
Yeah.
that up. So I'm so glad to know that you're doing that.
Well, and let me just say, it's never too late to start something,
That's beautiful.
and it is my birthday today. I'm 71, and I am boxing. Now, who would have thought?
I think that's beautiful because the women that I powerlift with are 80.
Oh,
We have 190. And then you have me, and I'm not telling you how old I am.
how old you are, okay. But, I think that sometimes we think that, you have to be young to do some of these things, and you don't. And I just want to encourage people. And actually, because I work on the computer, I am working on the computer all the time, which is a sitting activity.
Yes.
And then my chiropractor said, you have to do something, you have to move more because
Yes.
your body needs this. And, and I just had to find something that would work for me. And this has worked really well. I'm really happy with it.
Well, I can say I can't think of a better way to do it. I really can't. And I'll say one more thing, and then I have another question for you. What is important also is your instructor, because your stance, well, with powerlifting, it has to be, just right. And we have a fantastic coach, that Bill Beakley, that is got more patient with us old ladies than you can ever imagine.
Yeah.
So even for yourself with boxing, he
Yeah.
needs to know, or she needs to know exactly how to train you.
Absolutely. And actually the owner of the studio is the one that is working with us. And so it's been really good. And he's aware that not all of us can do everything, and he doesn't push us to do things we cannot do physically yet, but he encourages us to try things, and
Yes.
I actually did a plank the other day. I was like, I did a plank.
And what is that?
Oh, a plank when you're on your arms, the forearms, and then your toes, and you plank out your body. So you lift up your whole body. Obviously, I haven't been able to hold it for long yet, but the fact that I could even do it, I couldn't in the beginning. So after 5 weeks, I am able to at least get into the formation of a plank. I was pretty excited about that.
Well, yes, girl. Yes. Do you realize we could take our whole 45 minutes and talk about powerlifting and or boxing?
I did it.
Because it's such beautiful exercise. But anyway, I understand that you have two seemingly diverse areas of expertise: social media marketing and energy empowerment. So I understand also that you see them very complementary. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I think that it's important to, when you're working with a client, that you're working with them where they are. And many of the clients are stressed out. And so I've had situations where I ended up doing energy work on them instead of social media work. I was able to recognize what they needed at that time. So I really am kind of a unique person. I'm very yin and yang. So I have these two different sides. And because of that, it allows me to help my clients in a unique way. And I'm not just focusing on what's happening with your technology, but I'm meeting my client where they are and what do they need, and helping them with whatever that is. And sometimes they just need help on the energy side. Sometimes they just need help on the technical side. But because I have both, I'm able to blend them together and provide kind of a unique offering to my clients.
And I think that's great. Don't you think a lot too has to do with emotional? Don't you think today,
Absolutely.
today's world, there is quite a bit of emotional going on because of I could use the word mishaps. Does that make sense? Because there's so
Yeah.
many.
Well, I think, we're in very emotional times, and
Mhm.
I have had to do a lot of coaching and helping my clients through some of those emotional times, and over these years. And
Mhm.
even now, obviously we've had an unusual 2020, and I've had to really help clients through this pandemic and all of the things that happen. And it's definitely something that I've been able to help people in a way that if I just focused on the technical side, I wouldn't have been able to help them as much. And
Exactly.
so it's been really great. I'm really happy that I happen to embrace all of who I am and not hide one area or another.
Right. Especially the boxing area, right?
Yes. I've actually, it's really funny because I had, when I mentioned that to a couple men, they immediately got a little nervous. They were going, "Oh my gosh."
I'm sure. And then tell them you're a psychic, and then they'll get more nervous.
Well, I'm not going into that field, so that you can have that field.
Well, that's my point. But
But I can empower them with energy tools. Absolutely.
yes, exactly. But even to, with being able to do the intuitive readings that I'm able to do to help people, because emotionally so many things are going on with everybody. There are so many people, Kathy, that are moving, that are job changing.
Yeah.
It's just it really, I can say, it blows me out to
Yeah.
see some. And then the other thing that's happening is the nurses, the people in medicine, medical. It's really been very, very challenging for them.
I understand. And I, obviously I see that with my children. My daughter and her husband moved across country with my grandchild, from New York to California. They got there before the fires, but then when they got there, they're going, "Oh my gosh, we came and now everything's on fire." You know,
Yes.
that's been really frustrating. And both of them had lost their jobs in New York.
Mhm.
So, helping them through their difficulties has been a big part of what I've helped them with. And then my son and his wife, they're both working still from home, and they have two small children. They have a baby and they have a toddler. And it's very difficult to get work done when
I'm
you
sure.
have these
I'm
little
sure.
ones.
Yes.
So life has definitely been interesting for my children in dealing with this. Lots of stress and, you know,
Yes. And my daughter lives in Spain, and she had to do homeschooling. So, you'd be surprised when they hand us these things that we don't think that we can do. We do it. So
it's true.
it's nice to be, I could say it two ways. It's nice to be a strong individual, regardless of the sex. But sometimes it's really nice to be a strong lady also, or a woman,
Yeah.
or a mother, because there's the things that have transpired this year has really taught a lot of us a lot of new, different ways of doing things. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Oh, I agree. I agree.
Uh, So, so then let me say this, please. I notice that you are a co-author with Deepak Chopra, who I have a lot of respect for, and then Jack Canfield, and also Dr. Dennis Waitley in Stepping Stones to Success. So, how did all of that come about?
Well, this happened back in 2000 and I think 2009. And I was just after my husband died, I was getting my life back together and starting to figure out what did I want to be when I grow up. And then there was a nationwide search for authors to participate in a compilation book with Deepak Chopra and Jack Canfield and Dr. Dennis Waitley. And I was selected as one of the authors to be in that book. The publisher is how that all came about. And then they reached out to me, interviewed me to make sure that I could be in the book, that they wanted me in the book. And so that's been a real exciting thing to be a part of.
I'm sure.
It definitely made a difference to open doors for media opportunities because I've been on television and radio, and those opportunities to get interviewed came about because of being published.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I think Deepak is just a beautiful man. I really do. So would you just explain to me or tell me something about your experience with meeting him?
Well, and actually, as a part of the book, I didn't meet him then. I've met him 2 other times. I saw him when he came to Tarpon Springs, and actually, it was before, right in the beginning of the book. It was around that time. And I had an opportunity to hear him speak live, and it was amazing. And then I saw him a number of years later when he came to Tampa, and I went to see him speak. And I too, he's an amazing world spiritual leader, and he makes a difference in everything he does.
Yes, and I agree with you on that 100%. I just think he appears to be so very easy going.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is, but he appears.
Yeah, I think he probably is. At times, I think for some of the spiritual leaders who have been having this message for many, many, many years, and he's been a spiritual leader for I don't even know how long, but a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that sometimes they get a little frustrated that humanity hasn't hasn't done that. They're still, there's a lot of babies out there yet.
Right, right. I'm sure in the next few years, that's going to be something, or their personalities are going to be something that's going to be needed.
Right, right.
Or as persons, not just as people, not just as their personalities. So now let me ask you this, please. So
well, before we go to the next question, I think that they wanted to take a break.
I still see live up there.
Oh yes, I understand, but I'm seeing a note from the studio telling us to take a break.
Okay. I'm glad you saw it because I don't have it. Oh, I think we're back.
I believe we are.
Oh, okay. So now let me please ask you another question is how do you help your clients with your yin and yang expertise?
Well, I believe that what happens is I'm able to tap in to really see what's going on with them as far as their stress level. And
Mhm.
so a lot of what I'm doing is helping release their stress and helping them know that there's a resource, there's somebody that can help them. And I get calls all the time from clients asking me the most unusual questions. Not necessarily just about how their Facebook page is working or how the Facebook ads running or something to do with technology or their website. They might just be needing someone to be there to help them with how to do their content. And when I'm looking at their content for a video, for example, I'm able to guide them in the proper way to word it and everything. So it's just a combination of both the tech side of me and that energy side of me working together to bring about a good solution for my clients.
I think that that's great. And I also think that you probably have someone every now and then who calls you and says, please help me edit my work, my story.
I do. I do. I mean, I get all kinds of questions.
I just want you to know, Kathy, that I really appreciated the fact that you did edit my story.
Yeah.
And I also, and I will tell you, and I'll tell everybody, of course, whoever watches the program, that my story did go into a book on COVID-19.
Yeah.
So it was called Locked Down Better Than Locked Up.
That is true. That is true.
So I really was, I was happy about that. I brought 5 books. I'll have to give you a copy.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. That's great.
Yes, I thought that story was so good. I was so upset that day. But anyway,
I I understand.
I can't believe what the COVID-19 has done to us. But anyway, on your website, you have a link to several media interviews with major networks. How were you able to get the interviews and what type of information were you able to share?
Well, because I am a published author and I'm a regular on the Small Business Advocate radio show. A lot of the networks, when they're reaching out, they'll do a search on experts in certain areas. So they'll do a search on social media experts in the Tampa Bay area. They are, if they want to interview someone locally and something's happening with Facebook or something like that, that they need someone on the local network. And so, and then they look at the fact that on your website that you've been on other shows and stuff, and it really makes a difference because then they know what to do when they are interviewing you, and they prefer that somebody that's already been on several networks than not. But certainly the book opened the door for me to be interviewed, and then once I was on one show, then it was easy to get on the next show and the next show. And when they call, you have to be ready. I mean, I've had them call me and they wanted to interview me like within an hour, and could I meet them somewhere? And it's like, whoa, you don't get a lot of preparation because
No.
they're doing live things, live shots, and they're trying to fit you into what storyline and what's happening. And so I've been interviewed about Facebook and about social media, uh, almost all of the any kind of topic you can think of.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's great. So, but that's good to know, you know, because one thing is for sure, we really need to be ready when, right?
Yeah.
No
You
matter,
really have to be. Yeah.
yes, no matter what that time frame is,
Yes.
you have to.
And I'm going to make a suggestion and a recommendation about that. Make sure you have a media outfit, an outfit that you would want to wear on television, ready. Because I had gotten called on such short notice. One of the last, when I was on CBS, a few years ago, and I didn't have a whole lot of time, and I didn't grab the right outfit. I didn't have on the right outfit, and then when I saw it on the, when you see it on the screen, you go, "Oh crap! Why did I wear that?"
So why was that not the right one?
Well, you have to be aware of how the fit is, the colors, things like that. Just be surprised how different outfits make such a difference when you're on television.
Okay, one thing's for sure, we probably need outfits that make us look slim.
And they're not really going to get your whole profile. Usually they're just going to do, the upper torso. So, and so that's one good thing. It isn't like, I had to have a slimming outfit. It's more about the color and the way it fits and things like that.
Just think, if you keep on boxing and you get there again,
Yeah.
wear a sleeveless shirt, a tank, a tee. What do we call them? T-tops?
Yes.
Because you know what I do? Because I'm so proud of my arms, and you will be too in time.
Yeah.
That I tell my kids, I'm sorry, I tell my kids to bury me in a tea tank, a tank top. Because I want everybody to see how beautiful my arms look, no matter how old I am.
I totally understand. I've had a big improvement already in mine, and I'm very happy. So yes, that's true. And it actually might have been something like that I saw. I had a sleeveless thing done, and it didn't look as good. You know what I mean? So you have to pay attention to things like that. What's going to show up?
Exactly. So see, in time, and it won't be that long, it'll be beautiful. Okay.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
I know. The other thing I tell my boys, I don't tell my daughter, she already knows. I tell them to put brakes on my casket because I'm going to be running around. And then I've told my youngest son, he's the first one I'm going to haunt. Because he's the one that doesn't believe in that. You know what I mean? So, but I do.
You'll have fun with that one, won't you?
I'm telling you, I just know he knows I'm going to haunt him.
I totally understand.
All right, so then I have one more question. Probably I have two if we have enough time. I see that you're a featured expert on the Small Business Advocate radio show. I have such a southern drawl, covering all the latest changes and updates in social media. Can you share more about that, please?
Yeah, I have been on that show for over 10 years now. And it all started because a friend of mine asked me about the show and said, "Can you find out how they interview experts? How do they determine who they're going to interview?" So I called the producer and I asked them, how do they choose who they're going to interview? And they said, "Well, we take a look at your information, and we decide, do we want you on the show?" And they asked me to send them my media kit or press kit, which I did. I sent them a copy of my book. I sent them topics that I could talk about, and actually, I sent them a thing on the 52 social media tips. I offer a free ebook on the 52 social media tips. And they said, yeah, we would love to interview you. And after that first interview, the owner of the show, Jim Blasingame, said to me, well, why don't we do a series on your 52 social media tips? And I said, perfect. And we did. And then, of course, we ran out of those 52 tips, many years ago. But what I do now is I cover all the latest changes and updates as they're happening on social media. I was just on the radio show with him on Monday morning. No, actually Tuesday morning. And I was talking about the latest changes to Facebook, the latest changes to LinkedIn and Snapchat, and so there's so many things that are happening. And I do all the research ahead of time to figure out what is happening now so I can let small businesses know. This is how.
Yeah, I really believe that Facebook, the business one, to me, it's too much information on the page.
Oh, they make changes all the time. It's really dramatic, some of the changes that they make. And
I think that's a good word, Kathy, dramatic. Yeah.
And one of the things that I covered in my show on Tuesday was about they're now going to create a new feature called neighborhoods. And it's going to be something like that Nextdoor platform, so that you can kind of say what neighborhood you're in and join in with the people in that neighborhood and have a profile about that. So they're looking at, whenever they see a competitor that's doing really well and growing, they go, oh, well, maybe we should offer that feature or do that. And that's what they're doing.
Do you think that's a good thing, though?
Do I think that the Facebook's business model is a good thing? No, I don't think it necessarily.
The one with the neighborhood.
Well, no, I think that the real problem isn't the fact that, neighborhood, there's nothing wrong with it. They're next door, and the neighborhoods that they're going to offer the feature from. The problem is Facebook is such a Goliath that the other business could be out of business really quickly because of the billions of people on Facebook versus the millions on Nextdoor. So it makes a big difference when Goliath decides to compete against you, and that's kind of what's going on. So I was talking on the show about, here they've found a way to go after another network that could be competing with them.
Right. Sometimes I sort of give up with them. Sometimes. I understand that after that you offer several free downloads on your website. So can you tell us how people can get them and then I'm supposedly to say, and thank you for offering them.
Yes. And so on my website, I do have a lot of free downloads that people are welcome to go to the website and get. I have technology ones where I talk about the 52 social media tips. That's a free ebook you can download. I also have some SEO tips that you can download, a checklist, SEO checklist. But then I have some energy empowerment free tools as well. So I have them both there, and you'll find them at kathyperry.com on the products page. That's where I have them.
Oh, I think that's great. I hear music. Is somebody coming in?
I think that it was probably a ding on my computer that somebody sent me a message or something.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that ding sounds almost like my ding for when we're finished here.
I think it's called a notification.
ever. Kathy, I just want to tell you thank you very much for being on the show tonight, because I have really, really enjoyed it. But would you please tell everybody again your web page, your phone number.
Yep.
Once more, please explain to them about your downloads.
Okay, so you can reach me at kathyperry.com. And a lot of people get that confused when they type in Kathy Perry into Google. Google will think you must be trying to reach Katy Perry, but actually I'm not Katy Perry. There's an H in my name, and it's kathyperry.com. So, and it's kathyperry.com. And then you can also reach me by phone by calling 813-789-9580. Or you can email me at kathyperry.com. So I try to make it real easy for people to reach me, but Google does make it a little bit more difficult.
Yes, and I understand that, but that's good. So now everybody should know. And then can you just tell me one more thing before we close the show tonight? Just one more thing about anything.
Well, I think the thing I'd like to leave everybody with is you are a very special and unique individual, and you need to always take care of yourself. And so have a self-care routine, something that you do to care for yourself every day, and let your light shine.
That's exactly right. And even if we do that by boxing or powerlifting or take our vitamins like we're supposed to,
That's right.
and then of course we should all do everything in our power to try to eat as best we can, as healthy as we can, with the food being the way that it is today. Does that make sense?
It does. We have to take responsibility for our lives, and not blame other people for the choices that we're making.
That's exactly right. And I agree with you 100%. And if they can't power lift or don't want to power lift or box, they can always walk, right?
Yes, absolutely.
They could do a treadmill. You know, the one thing that I can honestly say about Blue Feather, and I really believe that he's the one that pushes me the most, because I've been working out for over 17 years. And then the powerlifting has been the past 4 years.
Right.
Our health is so important, and exercise and, can we say, supplements are very important also.
I agree. I totally agree. And I believe that the energy work that I do has made a huge impact on my own life as well.
Right. And now that I remember that you do that, I had a gentleman come in the shop today and ask me about Reiki Healing, so I'm going to give him your name.
Okay. I don't do Reiki. I do many others.
No, well, I guess I should have explained that a little bit more thorough. He's really looking for healing, and what he knows is just the Reiki part of it. But
Yeah.
I'll give him your name, and then that way you can talk with him about other means of healing.
Right.
And that would be good. So that's okay by you, right?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. I really appreciate it. And then now what we need to do is get Cece to come back.
Thank you. I'm happy that I was able to be on your show.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
But don't go nowhere yet, because
I won't.
She should be here. we only have about 10 seconds left.
Hello there. Okay. Well, this was wonderful, and I learned a great deal. So thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate it tonight.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
That means you can either come box with us or powerlift, whichever you want to do.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Make sure you tune in to Insight with Blue Feather with your host, Reverend Janet M. Reynolds. So we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.